Yes, Jesse and Demi from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and MOMTOK have unfollowed each other, but I do not believe it is for the reason a lot of people are thinking. First, we'll get to the receipts. This is Demi's Instagram. You can't find Jesse. Same with Jesse's Instagram, Demi's TikTok, and Jesse's TikTok.
I think MOMTOK's been a positive impact for the Mormon community.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tell you now what I actually think is going on. I see a lot of people theorizing that this alleged fallout between Demi and Jesse is due to the video that Demi and Whitney posted together where it says the duo no one expected. I don't think that's what it is.
The MOMTOK feud has now officially reached a new level of insanity, and I think we have Demi to thank for that because Demi has now gone off the rails. She is now in a one-sided feud.
You noticed Demi and Whitney were wearing the same outfits. Well, there was a whole content day that was filmed sometime in November. Look at the date there. Whitney and Taylor both posted videos on the 17th of November where they're all wearing the same outfits. And there was something else in there. In the background, you can see crew members that are setting up for shots, doing lighting.
We watched the first season, last year?
Yeah.
And then season 2 just came out last week. And I like the fact that they didn't waste no time. You know, sometimes you have to wait a year and a half, 2 years before you get in the season. Now they can't wait.
Scandalous bitch.
Also, Whitney posted this on the 17th of January with the caption, "Posting my drafts before TikTok gets banned and found this gem." So I think this video was a piece of content that they filmed back in November while they were filming for season 2 that they were just gonna hang on to for a future kind of clickbait moment.
With Taylor Frankie Paul and everything she has been saying and doing online is just so crazy. We need to discuss it. So this all started when Taylor Frankie Paul posted about none of the MOMTOKers commenting on her CMA post, which yes, was very petty, but Demi's reaction to this was so unwarranted, and how she has continued to react is just actually insane.
But Whitney posted this on the 17th. What was posted the day before? It was this video that Jesse posted on the 16th, where she is essentially forgiving Taylor Frankie Paul. The Taylor and Demi feud publicly started whenever Taylor tried to call out MOMTOK for not hyping her up on social media when she did the CMAs. And who went the hardest on Taylor?
They are.
They own it. They said shit got the momentum now. We gotta keep pushing this shit out.
Yeah, and so what you can't see yet is it's like a war, low-key, for who is gonna be like the centerfold of MOMTOK, yeah.
Welcome back, you guys. And today we have got to talk about the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, because the reunion just dropped and it is pure chaos. Like, texts were leaked, someone skipped the reunion altogether, people are getting called out for manipulating behind the scenes, and there's even talk of lie detectors coming in for season 3. Yeah, it's that messy. Now, if you thought the whole soft swinging confession from Taylor Frankie Paul was where the drama peaked, just wait till you hear what's unfolded lately. Because it turns out, the reunion wasn't just about confronting old wounds, it exposed new betrayals, some serious behind-the-scenes shade, and a whole lot of double standards. And let's be real, the internet has not been quiet about it. We've got fans on Reddit and TikTok literally piecing together timelines like they're solving a true crime docuseries. Screenshots have surfaced, voice recordings are being played, and more than one cast member is being called out for completely dodging accountability. One cast member even skipped the reunion entirely, choosing to go to Disneyland instead. And yes, people are saying that might have been a strategic move since Disney owns Hulu. And honestly, this reunion didn't just stir the pot, it straight up flipped the table. From Jesse possibly hiding a secret hookup, to Demi getting exposed through flirty DMs, to Taylor opening up about being lied to by Dakota.
Demi. And this is one of many comments Demi left all over different accounts, which I also want to say she's entitled to leave as many comments as she wants. I don't see any issue with Demi leaving comments on anyone's content.
It's one emotional, shady, tear-filled roller coaster from start to finish. So today, we're breaking it all down. The leaked messages, the family drama, the friendship fallouts, and what season 3 is teasing behind the scenes. Because whatever image these influencers had when they first started MOMTOK, it's not what's left standing now. let's get into all the drama, betrayal, and digital receipts that are shaking up this Mormon mom influencer empire. So let's rewind for a second and talk about how all of this chaos even began. Because long before the reunion, long before the leaked texts and voice recordings, there was one confession that blew the whole MOMTOK world wide open. It was Taylor Frankie Paul, one of the original faces of this tight-knit Mormon mom influencer group, who went viral after revealing that she and her now ex-husband were part of something called a soft swinging setup. And no, this wasn't just a casual confession in a Q&A. This shook people. Because what started out as a bubbly group of clean-cut moms doing TikTok dances and sharing recipes suddenly turned into a headline-making scandal that people couldn't stop watching. And to make it worse, Taylor admitted that she didn't just agree to this arrangement, she caught feelings for someone else's husband in the group. That's when everything imploded. Her marriage collapsed, friendships shattered, and the whole group dynamic was suddenly exposed to a level of speculation and judgment that no one was ready for.
Demi didn't just post comments on other people's content, she also was posting to her Instagram stories. This is one of many things that she was saying in regards to Taylor. So if we're gonna really use the deductive reasoning and everything I've just given you as to what may have caused this supposed rift between Jesse and Demi,
especially considering many of these creators still carried that squeaky clean Mormon-adjacent image online. Now, some of the moms started publicly distancing themselves, others stayed eerily quiet, and viewers were left wondering, who else was involved? Was this a one-off situation or the tip of a much messier iceberg? And honestly, that one reveal from Taylor didn't just create drama, it created a storyline. One that Hulu clearly saw potential in, because the secret lives of Mormon wives basically picked up right where TikTok left off. It became the platform where all that real-life fallout got aired out in slow motion. And trust me, the producers did not hold back. But, as wild as that was, Season 2 made it clear that Taylor's story was only the beginning, because another cast member entered the scene with her own connection to the swinging drama, and that's when things spiraled even further. So just when the dust sort of started to settle after Taylor's swinging reveal, Season 2 comes along, and boom, in walks Miranda. And let me tell you, her arrival was anything but low-key. See, fans had already heard whispers that Miranda might have been connected to the original scandal. But when she actually joined the cast, that speculation turned into reality. She confirmed that, yes, she was also involved in that whole off-camera swinging circle. And suddenly viewers were like, wait, so this was way deeper than we thought? But here's the kicker. Even though Miranda came in with all that potential for chaos, she wasn't the center of the drama this time. Because instead of rehashing Taylor's story, the focus of Season 2 shifted fast. And the real tension, it bubbled up between a totally different trio, Demi, Jesse, and Jen. And this is where things went from spicy to straight up messy. Miranda may have added a layer of shock with her background, but what stole the spotlight was a trip the girls took to Italy, specifically to a place called Vanderpump Villa.
I'm gonna have to guess it was this forgiving Taylor moment. Whatever it was, kind of bummed at the moment because I do love this friendship. They did have a common enemy in Whitney, but I just don't think this is actually about Whitney.
Yep, the same Vanderpump that brought us all that Real Housewives and Pump Rules energy. So naturally, when these Mormon influencers showed up in Lisa Vanderpump's world, it was a recipe for chaos. This is where Jen accused Demi of being way too flirty with one of the Villa guys, a guy named Marciano. Demi denied it, of course. But then Marciano stepped in and stirred the pot even more, claiming not only was the flirting real, but he actually hooked up with Jesse. And yeah, Jesse is very much married. At this point, people didn't know who to believe. Was this just reality TV editing, or was something actually going down behind closed doors? But if Season 2 taught us anything, it's that what happens in Italy absolutely does not stay there. Because what happened next, it would drag this group into a full-blown digital war. So the Italy trip should have been a fun girls' getaway, right? But instead, it turned into a turning point. And not the good kind, because once the group got to Vanderpump Villa, the energy shifted fast. It was glamorous on the surface, but behind the scenes, things got messy real quick. It all started when Jen noticed Demi getting way too flirty with Marciano, one of the Villa staffers. Now, Demi was brushing it off, saying it was all harmless and exaggerated, but Jen wasn't having it. She called her out, right then and there. But before the drama could even cool down, Marciano himself dropped a truth bomb that shook everything up. He claimed that not only was the flirting 100% real, but he also hooked up with Jessie. Yeah, Jessie, the one with a husband back home and a squeaky clean image online. And while Jessie tried to deny it during filming, fans started connecting dots fast. Because not long after that episode aired, she suddenly stopped wearing her wedding ring. Coincidence? People weren't buying it. To make things even messier, Marciano went public with DMs and messages that showed Jessie wasn't exactly keeping things professional, and then screenshots started surfacing of Demi still interacting with him online.
They are probably viewing her as a coworker that they do have to figure out a way to at least be around even if they're not getting along. I'm curious to see what Jessie and Demi have to say about it.
Following him, liking his stuff, even after filming wrapped. That kind of undercut her whole defense that the flirting was just a misunderstanding. And the thing is, this wasn't just one person's word against another. The texts, the timing, the missing wedding ring, it all looked very real. Which is why the internet kind of exploded with theories. Was Jessie hiding a secret hookup? Was Demi playing both sides? And where did the husbands in all this even stand? But the fallout didn't stop there. Because once the season aired and fans started reacting, the drama leapt off screen and onto social media, with people calling each other out, defending their reputations, and even sending legal threats. And what came next? Well, that's when the real digital battle began. Once the Marciano drama hit the screen, everything that had been simmering quietly behind the scenes suddenly boiled over. Because the moment season 2 dropped, the cast wasn't just reacting on camera anymore. They took it straight to social media. And that's where things got even uglier. First up, Demi's husband jumped into the mix and called Jen a liar publicly. He basically accused her of making everything up about Demi and Marciano to stir drama and destroy reputations. But before people could even decide who they believed, Marciano clapped right back. And this time, he brought receipts. He shared messages that clearly showed Demi messaging him after filming ended. And we're not talking casual replies. These were full-on conversations, flirty undertones, and even jokes that definitely didn't sound like they belonged in a married woman's inbox. So now, the narrative had flipped. Instead of Demi looking like the victim of rumors, people started wondering if she'd been downplaying the truth all along.
First, she comments on Taylor's CMA post saying that the other moms don't need to feed her extremely large ego and that they don't need her.
And then came the legal drama. Word got out that Demi had actually sent a cease and desist letter to Jen, trying to shut down her from talking about the Italy trip and those alleged flirty moments. Which, if we're being honest, only made fans more suspicious. Like, why send legal paperwork if there's nothing to hide? People started saying that Demi wasn't trying to protect her reputation. She was trying to control the narrative. And Jen wasn't staying silent either. She doubled down, claiming everything she said was true, and even dared Demi to prove otherwise. It quickly became a full-on social media battle, with fans taking sides, theories flying, and receipts being dropped almost daily. Some were defending Demi, saying the internet was blowing things out of proportion. Others were accusing her of playing both sides, being the flirty friend on one end and the legal threat sender on the other. And while everyone else was trading jabs, one cast member was suspiciously quiet. And her absence didn't go unnoticed, because what she did next only made things worse. So let's talk about the reunion, because if season 2 was chaotic, the reunion was a straight-up unraveling. Everyone showed up, except for one very key person, Demi. And yeah, that immediately raised eyebrows. Now, the official reason for her absence? She was at Disneyland with her family, but people weren't buying it, especially since Hulu, which airs the show, is owned by Disney. Fans immediately started speculating that this was all part of some strategic PR move. Like, instead of facing the fire, she was conveniently whisked away to the happiest place on Earth. Seriously? But while Demi was avoiding the hot seat, the rest of the cast did not hold back. Jessie came in with actual screenshots from Marciano's phone, full of flirty messages between him and Demi. And these weren't vague or open to interpretation. We're talking things like, "Is this how you sweet talk all the ladies?" And "Don't be a baby, it's no different than swallowing," which, yeah, had the entire reunion room speechless. These were things you definitely wouldn't expect a married woman to be saying to someone else, and fans were shocked. And it didn't stop there. Whitney, who's usually more neutral, even said that Demi's husband had no idea about these messages. And Jessie made it clear that Demi had been playing both sides, acting innocent on the show while continuing to DM Marciano off camera. But the biggest jaw-dropper? A voice recording that Jen played during the reunion. In it, Demi is literally coaching her on what to say if anyone asks about the Italy trip. Like, word-for-word suggestions on how to dodge questions without technically lying. That moment completely flipped the narrative. People who were unsure before suddenly saw Demi in a whole new light. At that point, even the cast members who were once in her corner started backing away. And the truth is, it wasn't just about one trip anymore. It was about trust, manipulation, and a whole friend group unraveling in real time.
Then she goes on a commenting spree saying that Taylor tells half-truths and that she manipulates her viewers. And then she posts this.
They have brains or not. Don't make me laugh. They were. While the reunion had its fair share of receipts and shade, it also brought something nobody was expecting: real, raw emotion. And at the center of that storm was Taylor and her on-again, off-again partner Dakota. Now, we've seen Taylor go through a lot on this show. From the swinging scandal that kicked everything off to the backlash she's gotten from her own family. But nothing hit harder than when she sat across from Dakota and opened up about how broken things really are between them. She talked about the lies, specifically how, even after she had his baby, he still wasn't honest about being with other people in the early days of their relationship. And that kind of betrayal, it's not something she's been able to move past. She said she feels like she wants to trust him, but she just can't. Not when she keeps finding out more things he kept from her. And Dakota, he said he's trying. He insisted he's capable of being a loyal and loving partner. But even as he said it, the doubt was thick in the air. Taylor made it clear that right now, she doesn't believe him. Maybe one day, but today, she doesn't see him as someone who's truly ready to be faithful. It was one of the few moments in the reunion where the room got quiet, because no one was yelling or throwing accusations. It was just two people sitting with a whole lot of pain between them. And then Nick Viall, the reunion host, brought up something that made it even more confusing. Photos of Taylor and Dakota at Stagecoach, being all flirty, even licking each other's necks. Taylor admitted it's complicated. She said they don't really have boundaries. They're not officially together, but clearly there's still a connection, and maybe even a little denial. It was messy, it was emotional, and it left everyone wondering, is this love, or just a cycle they can't break? And while they were unraveling emotionally, someone else in the group was being accused of plotting something very different. So, while the cameras were focused on the feuds and flings, another storyline was quietly brewing. And it involved none other than Whitney. Now, if you remember, Whitney spent most of season 1 being labeled the villain. She was painted as the one always stirring the pot, battling for Queen Bee status with Taylor, and clapping back at anyone who stepped out of line. But in season 2, she tried to keep things low-key, at least on the surface. But at the reunion, yeah, that chill image did not last long. Whitney came to Demi's defense at first, saying people were being too harsh and not giving her a fair shot. But the group was not having it. They immediately called her out for conveniently forgetting how shady Demi had been all season long. Especially after the leaked messages, the coaching voice note, and the alleged cease and desist. It felt like Whitney was trying to protect someone who wasn't even there to defend herself. And then things got really messy when Jessie brought up a rumor that Whitney had allegedly tried to push her out of the show. Like, behind-the-scenes power moves to renegotiate contracts, float the idea of a replacement, and basically remove Jessie altogether in exchange for a higher salary. And the craziest part, Jessie and Whitney were supposed to be best friends. Now, nothing's been confirmed officially, but just the possibility that Whitney was making those moves behind Jessie's back had everyone shook. Fans online started calling it a betrayal. Others said it was classic reality TV strategy. But either way, the trust in that friendship, pretty much gone. Oh, and if that wasn't enough, Whitney is also allegedly planning to launch her own version of MOMTOK, like a separate influencer squad totally outside the show. And to top it off, she reportedly warned Taylor not to get her hair done at Jessie's salon, saying she didn't like how her own hair turned out. So yeah, Whitney might not be throwing drinks or yelling in confessionals, but her behind-the-scenes energy, sneaky, strategic, and possibly way more dangerous. Alright, so just when you thought the drama couldn't go any deeper, Season 3 said, "Hold my Diet Coke." Because at the end of the reunion, Hulu dropped a teaser trailer. And yeah, it looks like we've only seen half the story. First off, Jessie still isn't saying whether she actually hooked up with Marciano or not. When Nick Viall asked her point blank, she straight up said she couldn't answer that question. Why? Because it's all going to play out in season 3. Which basically means she's saving the bombshell for later. The suspense is wild, and fans are already picking apart every frame of the teaser to figure out what went down. And then there's Taylor, who gets into it with her own mom. Yup. In one clip, Taylor breaks down, accusing her mother of always taking Dakota's side, even after all the lies and betrayal. It's emotional, it's awkward, and it kind of says everything about how deep this whole situation has gone. But maybe the biggest shock? Marciano himself appears to admit on camera that he was told to say certain things. Like, what? Who told him what to say? Was this a setup? Was he covering for someone? The teaser leaves it totally open-ended, but it's enough to make you wonder how much of what we've seen so far was real and how much was quietly orchestrated behind the scenes. And let's not forget, Demi might have missed the reunion, but her storyline is far from over. Between the voice messages, the DMs, and the cast turning on her, she's going to have a lot to answer for next season, if she even returns at all. The teaser also hints at new faces, more splits, and yes, a lie detector segment. That's right, someone's getting strapped in. And with the way these storylines are heading, that test might just be the final straw that sends the whole group off the rails. Because at this point, this isn't just about influencers or followers or clout, it's about trust, betrayal, and a friendship circle that's basically crumbling on camera. So yeah, what started as a bunch of moms making TikToks and lip-syncing in matching outfits has officially spiraled into one of the wildest reality show storylines out there. We've got friendships crumbling, flirty texts getting exposed, marriages breaking down, and cast members skipping reunions like it's no big deal, all while pretending things are just misunderstood. And now, with season 3 teasing lie detectors, loyalty tests, and more secrets getting dragged out into the open, it's clear this isn't just about internet drama anymore. This is real life for these women, and it's being broadcast to the world, one chaotic episode at a time. What makes all of this even crazier is how fast the internet reacts. Every time an episode drops or a cast member posts something cryptic on Instagram, Reddit goes into full detective mode. People are tracking ring fingers, matching timestamps, digging into comment threads. It's like a full-on investigation with a fandom that's more intense than some crime shows. And honestly, whether you're watching for the tea, the drama, or just because it feels like a social experiment unraveling in real time, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives has officially earned its place as the show everyone pretends they're not watching, but secretly can't look away from. So now we've got to ask, who's telling the truth? Who's playing the long game? And who's just trying to protect their image before season 3 blows the lid off everything? Let me know what you guys think. Are you Team Jessie, Team Demi, or just here for the chaos like the rest of us? Drop your theories, your favorite shady moments, and your predictions for season 3 in the comments. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.